Recording is on.
Hey, gang.
What's up, Luke? How you
How
doing?
you doing?
What's up, Luke?
Summertime.
Yeah, that it is. Summertime. It's hot.
I bet you're in shape for the summer, Luke. You're in summer body is fully loaded this year.
Summer is, I don't know, dude. They used to be like chill, but now they're very busy. And
Why is it more busy than usual or
kids.
than the kids? I know, like with kids, it's like now you have to like do stuff with them or
I know.
uh,
It's like, dude, I used to love summer vacation, like, but now we got to keep them occupied, and it's just terrible.
yeah. Speaking of vacation, are you taking any this summer?
Yeah, I'm gonna be off next week, so
Okay.
need you guys to fill in for me here next week. Um, yeah, last year I don't know, like it's like 3 out of 4 years. Somebody faked my death or something while I was gone on vacation.
Thank you.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Well,
getting
yeah, we'll have to fill in for you next week then. All good.
no doubt, no doubt. You guys will do great. You always do. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna do my world famous Luke impression next week.
Oh God, make sure you
It's
record
world famous.
it. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Back Community Call for Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. I hope you all are having a great summer. Hope you all are having a good Tuesday. And yeah, it's a lot going on. Jenny is out this week. She is not feeling well today, so we hope she feels better. But the rest of the team's stepping up as they always do to fill in the void. And yeah, I think Pal, are you jockeying the deck this week?
Yes,
I
I
think,
am, but I think Drew is leading the presentation this week.
Aha, aha.
yeah, that I just show up and do the easy stuff. Holly does the hard work, and Guillermo on the back end. At least this week.
All
Okay,
right.
are you ready, team?
Yeah, we ready?
Very
All
ready,
right,
very ready.
let's do it. Let's do it. Here's your weekly Bat community update. Let's do it, Paula. All right. So, as we always talk about the Bat X or Twitter Spaces, we let's see. Last week we had a good space. Godson, Guillermo, and this was you, Paula, I believe, were on there, and
Jenny,
that
Jenny.
was Jenny. Yeah, that's right. Took over, and that was with AI. Or no, actually, coming up is AI taking over. Last week was the user generated content. That's right, UGC. That was a good space. You guys did a good job on that. Some good, interesting takes on there. I was listening, and I don't know anything to add on that, Guillermo, since you were on that space. Uh, your takes or thoughts on it?
I'll be very honest with you. It's I don't remember quite frankly the space and its integrity. I believe it was an overall good conversation. I believe
Yeah.
I made some sexy comments about Silence's voice, and there was some bickering between him and Godson. Regarding the contents, I remember we talked about the changes in API, the Brave Leo, and I don't remember much more aside from that. I'm sorry.
No,
These
it's all
just
good.
get mashed
I
into one big
I know
lump.
I'm throwing you on the spot there, but I thought it was good. So I appreciate that. Next this coming week we got the the Brave Show. Or we're switching the name over to the Brave Show, right? And it's the AI taking over. Um with Sapien, Gloria AI, and New M. So that should be a good one. We'll see you guys there, and we'll keep that thing rolling. So let's see, on July 4th, recent events, there was, no space due to the July 4th previous week. And then June 27th was another one. We can go on to the next one, Paula. So, yeah, Brave Technologist updates. Luke's been killing it on the podcast. So keep that rolling. Luke, anything you want to add on some of those that you've had recently on the show?
Oh yeah, no, I did a solo episode, this latest one, where it kind of went into a bit of a intro into like tokenized finance. So he talked about stable coins and like tokenized equities, and also kind of differences between tokenized equities and ETFs, and kind of how, it's an interesting dynamic. We'll do more later too, I think. But the whole idea here, and like some of this is kind of about like taking our own medicine too, is like, thinking of ways we can break this stuff down, that you could, share with your neighbor, your family, or whatever, in ways that they might understand. And so these topics are pretty good because they're relatable to everyday life. You're dealing with like 401ks or equities or whatever. And this is kind of a cool ground for that. Also, it's like this week is, I think folks have been seeing it's like a pretty big week for stable coins too. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, stablecoins are a big deal right now. So it's cool that you guys continue to do that and have some pretty awesome guests on there. All right, next slide, Paula. All right, so past and upcoming. Oh, this is yours, Guillermo.
It is.
Yeah, you
But
want
you
me to
can
just
do
do
it
your
if you
slide
want.
too? You want me to do it?
Sure.
Just keep going. No, it's good. Go ahead, man.
So this is basically the past podcast that I've attended and appearances that we have throughout the week since the past Bad Community Call. So on Friday, well, it was actually just me, but I was in Biddle Mode, which is a podcast hosted by two people in AVAX, two KOLs from AVAX, Luana and Van Ho. And we had just an amazing conversation talking about Brave, privacy, and the basic attention token, as well as just delving into a little bit of who Guillermo is. Before Brave, they were interested in that. I don't know why, but it was quite fun to be a part of that, and we had coffee together, so it was quite pleasant. That same day, a little bit, actually 1 hour later, the same time of our Brave show, the spaces that we have in Fungible, Bad Hearn hosted the Centraland party where he got to talk and did the 40-minute interview panel kind of thing. And then it was a whole party at the Centerland at the Supermoon Gallery show, where we had wearables that were exclusive to that event, that being the Brave Mask and the Bat Chain, which is the ones you can see very, very tiny. I should have gotten a bigger image because there was plenty of people there and you could see the wearables a bit nicer. But there's the Bat Chain and there's the Brave Privacy Mask, and I believe at one point we had like 52 people in it, so it was pretty cool. I don't know if it got to bigger numbers, it potentially did, but I had to leave a little bit early. We are having the GM Team episode 7 this Thursday, 2 p.m. GMT +1 or 10 a.m. EST, same time, same place. I don't know if Mr. Battern will be back from then. I believe so. I believe he returns actually tomorrow. But if not, the show will go on and I'll pull a look and I'll do it on my own. On that same day, I will be on a podcast with Blue. It's called the Pond Talk with Blue, and it will be basically the same thing I did Friday with Build Mode. Just talk a little bit about Brave and the basic attention token. I'll try to focus a little bit more on the token, since this is actually one of the members of the APU token. So I think it will be interesting to speak a little bit more about that. And again, as Drew mentioned priorly, we're having the spaces, same time, same place. This time about AI, is it taking over?
Hey, G, what day is your the GMT space that you do with Pattern?
The GM Team Spaces / podcast, because I believe now we're turning into more of a podcast because we want to have it more available on different platforms such as Spotify, YouTube, and so on. It happens every Thursday at 2 p.m. GMT +1 / 10 a.m. EST every Thursday.
10 a.m. EST. Well, if Pattern's not back and you want somebody to join you, I'm happy to join you, but that might be a net negative. So I'll get
You
if
have
you
to be on
want to do it
cam.
by yourself.
Last
Cool.
week
All
we
right.
had the Mr. Battern as a dog, and it was pretty funny. It was
Oh
a
yeah,
dog
I
in a
saw
ball.
that. I saw that. You dancing with the music and stuff. It was
Yeah.
it was fun. It was fun.
Hopefully, he will soon return into his normal form and be a pelican on that show because he doesn't show his face, so he has like a little anime avatar, and he didn't have the pelican ready, so he had to use the dog. It's pretty funny, but at the same time, pretty informative. Next slide. This is something that I saw this week that I thought was really, really cool. So Keith got a job proposition from Proton directly on X, and I thought it was really cool. It's really cool to see that not in that much time, but Keith has been talking a whole lot about privacy and Brave, and not as much about Pat, but a lot more about Brave and privacy. And there's a merge between a lot of other companies that he also enjoys on the topic of privacy, and one of them is Proton. And it's really cool to see that they are interested in working directly with Keith. This is just also a way to highlight the Bad Ambassador program, which just aligns you with circles of people that are like-minded and like to preach for the same values. And the Bad Ambassador program is not necessarily just for let's say bad on Solana, but can also include other aspects of both the browser and the token, which can help you boost your engagement towards little things like this. So this is something that I really like to see, and I think it's just phenomenal, and I'm very proud of Kit. Next slide, thank you. This is another really cool thing. This one is set by Arnyaka. I don't know if Arnyaka is here today. Let me just scroll real quick. He's not. But Arnyaka set a bad community stake pool on Cardano, and it's already available. Actually, give me 1 second, and I'll be able to link it directly here, so you can actually start staking right away if you want. But we have been a lot more presence in Cardano. We had a direct partnership with them. Correct me if I'm wrong, Luke.
Yeah, we did.
At the same time, we have one partnership with Midnight Network, which is also going to mint directly actually in 2 days on Cardano, their token Knight. And at the same time, we had Charles Hopkins talking about Brave and Bad. So that's a really cool thing that I wanted to spotlight. And it's really cool to see this set up by Arnyaka. And I just put a chat the stake pool that you can directly reach out and see. They also have
Is
a do rep, so it's like a. Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead and finish. I'll ask after you're done. Sorry.
They also have like DREP, which is a delegated representative, which means that you can directly vote on what to do with the stake pool, which I thought was pretty interesting. I think currently it's like 10 Cardano for the voting. So yeah, it's a cool mechanism that I haven't seen in other chains before. And I'm excited to see where it goes because these can lead directly to use the profit. Oh, by the way, it is set at 0% fees, so it's much nicer for the users compared to other stake pools. And at the same time, the profit that can be made from it can be used for community projects and community endeavors.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Arnyaka.
Arnyaka coming through.
Not here today.
So
Cool.
that's a you stake Cardano and earn fees or whatever, right? But it's just a that community stake pool of staking Cardano, correct?
I think you were in BAT.
Probably.
I think you.
Oh, you
No, it's the other way around. I think you stake BAT and you were in Cardano, and there's 0% fees.
okay? Because I'm curious as to if that's the case, like how do we even get that over there on Cardano? Look at
We
something
actually
I
have
guess
some
we can ask
liquidity.
our Nyaka.
We
Do
can.
we?
We actually have
Okay.
some liquidity on there. Battern some time ago did an overview of the liquidity that we had across different chains, and I remember there was some already existent in Cardano. I don't remember the exact number, but I believe there was.
Hmm.
I don't want to speculate. It was
Yeah, I'll have to look. No, it's fine.
there was a presence
Yeah,
there. I'll keep it at
yeah.
that.
Okay, no, that's cool. I'll look into it. I didn't know that, so I'll check it out. Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks, Aaron Yaka. What a go.
And those are my updates for the week. Guillermo away. Woo!
Later, bud.
Yeah, thanks, Gonzalez. Hello, everybody. My name is Godson, and I have your Brave in Africa update for this week. I figured I'll just start numbering the weeks. So this is week 29. So yeah. Okay, whole time. So we are in on the continent, still trying to work out that East Safari partnership. We were supposed to have a call with them yesterday, but it fell through because they wanted to get like more people involved on the call. And every time you try to get like 7 people to like agree on the time, it just becomes a whole thing. So, but we're still on schedule because we have like 2 months to plan this and execute. So we're still like working on that. We'll get to that sometime before next week. In the meantime, we're also working on another partnership with Build a DAO. So this is the same group of people that used to be called Kiboko DAO. They're the ones that like took stand on that like grand university tour last year. 10 universities, if I remember correctly, and a bunch of others. So they reached out to me a couple days ago, looking forward to some like partnership, some ads in exchange for like a media sponsorship or something like that. Just to give a quick rundown on what they are. So Build a DAO is like an accelerator, right? Like a decentralized Y Combinator for Africa. They are based in Kenya, but they operate throughout the continent. I don't know if Stan still wanted to talk. Stan, you can go ahead and add your 2 cents if you want to.
Yeah, Bill DAO, most of the people were formerly Kiboko DAO and they broke, and they still want to work with Brave because before they broke, they even had a deal. We had a deal they were to advertise with us, but now they're looking for a deal for ads. Yeah, and maybe we can partner them and do something more. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thanks. So I've asked them to put their proposal into like a formal sheet or something like a Google sheet, and then I'll pass it up the chain and see what's possible or what whatnot. But in the meantime, those are the things that we're working on this week. So that's it. That's it for me, and that's it for us. Thank you. Back to you, Drew.
All right. Thanks, Godson and Stan. Keep killing it out there in Africa. So yeah, for me, I got some number updates. In the Bat Caves, earning guano, there's 236,000, a little over 236,000 bat, which with a little bit of increase in the price, bat price this week, it's sitting a little over $35,000 worth of bat locked up. So so it's good to see that that's continue to grow. It looks like with, like I said, the market's going up, the value's going up, but the number of bat locked up is growing a little slower, and some people are taking off and other people putting on, but it's still continuing to grow. I think we're up a little over 1,000 or so from last week. But yeah, the value's definitely increased. And then also you can lock your Pingu to earn guano, and there's I think around $10,000 worth of Pingu on there now. So and that's also been both an increase in number and value wise. So and then between the locked liquidity pool, BAT and Solana, and BAT and guano liquidity pools, there's another 70,000 BAT being utilized in the Solana ecosystem. So if you add those up, that's like 306,000 BAT being utilized over there in Solana through the guano ecosystem, or for various purposes, just locking it up or LPs. And so remember, there's like 22+% of all the BAT on Solana being used over there. So keep up the good work, community, on that. It's cool to see, as usual. A couple things going on this Friday and Saturday. There's a Karate Combat event in Miami, and it's actually a two-night event. They got 2 nights of events that's going on this week, and then in about 3 weeks or so, there's the Rare Evo in Las Vegas. So if we have anybody in the community that wants to go to Karate Combat that's near Miami and wants to go, let us know, or wants to be out in Vegas for a Rare Evo event, let us know on that. I'm sure we can either get some discounts or get some tickets or something like that. I'm sure. Yeah, a bunch of us will be out there. Well, I'm trying to see if I can make it out there, but I know Luke and Sherelle and Jenny and a few others will be out there. I think G might be
Guillermo.
going. But yeah, Luke will be there, right?
But yeah, I'll be there. I think Guillermo's going too, right, Guillermo?
I am. Sorry, couldn't find the mute button, but I am.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so G will be out there if you want to be out there to see our resident Lisboa boy. Yeah, I'm just kidding, G. And Luke, of course, is always, he's people travel all the world over the world to see Luke. So
Oh, BS. Come on.
if you're in the
That's why I'm
area or
going.
want to be there, that's yeah, all over the world. See,
People travel
but
around the world to get away from me.
If it's not too
Yeah.
hot, which I doubt it's Las Vegas, but if it's not too hot, I'll bring the lions.
Vegas in summer is hot, buddy. I'll
Yeah,
let you
it's
know.
a desert,
It's
man.
it's in the desert, yeah.
No lion
So
suit.
it'll be hot, but we'll be indoors, so you'll have air conditioning. You can wear it
It'll
in
be
there.
sweet air conditioning.
Yeah. Everything has air conditioning out there, and yeah, we can't do it without air conditioning. But that's in like August 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that.
Yep, that's right.
So if anybody's in the area, let us know. That's my updates. Do we have any other slides,
Yes, we do. We have one more, but it's from me.
Paula?
So
Yeah,
don't worry.
that's what I thought. Yeah, go for it, Paula.
Okay, thank you. So for additional updates, the back community call summaries from the past weeks are ready, including the translations in Spanish, Hindi, and Japanese. But we're still upgrading the back community Notion, so we haven't been able to publish them yet. But hopefully, we'll have access this week. And of course, once we do, we'll let you know with a post on X and other social media, Discord, and all that. However, the recordings are available on Back Community's YouTube channel. So if you missed a Back Community call and you want to stay up to date with the latest news, check out the recordings. And also they are available on X once Luke posts them. And also, no, yeah, that's about that. That's all. But now, well, I'm sure Christopher and the rewards team will have more to say about this soon. But the video tutorial for self-custody rewards will become available in the next couple of weeks or so. Yeah, next couple of weeks probably. And that with a blog post with a very exciting update. So stay tuned. And I'm very excited to officially announce that Brave will be sponsoring Crypto Latin Fest at the end of August in Medellin, Colombia. Well, we were in discussions for a little bit, but but it's happening. And we're currently setting everything up and figuring out, the logistics for advertising and marketing and, our ad campaign and all those details. We'll also have a booth at the event, so we're working on it as well. And Wilfredo and I are going, so we're very, very excited, and hopefully we will have more details about that very soon. And well, this is not on the slide, but additionally, the BAT Mexico team is working on a possible collaboration for Ethereum Mexico, but we don't have many details just yet. But they're working on a proposal for us. And also, we're still working on. I mean, we keep our work with localized content in Spanish from the different regional accounts in LATAM, managed by the LATAM ambassadors. And yeah. And for this week, I wanted to highlight these posts from X. Of course, Keith, he's always shielding Brave and getting a lot of engagement from his posts and threads. So he got a lot of from this post. He got a lot of quoted reposts. Sorry about my pronunciation. And well, also the browser stats are always nice to see. So thank you so much for sharing. And Polkit has been killing it lately with his posts about Brave. I got only a couple, but I saw like probably like 10 or more, different posts. So we really love to see it. So thank you, Polkit, and everyone for sharing your support. And that's all from us today. Thank you so much.
Awesome,
Yeah,
gang.
thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pokit's been killing it on the threads. There have been, a lot of different types of content, a lot, both Brave and Bat content. So it's been awesome to see those. So really appreciate those.
100%.
And yeah, that's all from us, Luke. We'll turn it over to you.
Thanks,
open it
Drew.
up, man.
Thanks, everybody, for putting that all together and for filling in for Jenny. And yeah, it's great to see all the goings on. And like Drew said, we'll be out in Vegas at Rare Evo. It's going to be pretty awesome event from the looks of it. And we'll be a bunch of other stuff going on too. I think looks like there's some good legislation that's about to hit in the US around crypto, which is exciting. And the big rallying cry around that going on. And lots of other interesting stuff happening too. The AI side at Brave's taken off too. The API is cooking pretty well. I think there's some NCP stuff that launched with Amazon recently on that side of things, which is neat to see. And we've got lots of activity going on. I think there's another wave of like people finding out that Chrome's been restrictive on blocking and all that. So I've been seeing a bunch of tweets around that, which has been kind of cool. I think we've also seen this past week, Perplexity has brought Comet to market, and folks that are paying $200 a month are lucky enough to, I don't know, like get on that wait list or whatever, are trying it out.
I was going to ask you about that. Actually,
yeah. Let's talk about it.
Thoughts on that, and obviously, $200 a month, whatever. But no, just your thoughts on this.
I think it's cool. Like like agentic AI is like it's been a emerging area, and the browser is the user agent, right? But I think that so much of this stuff is kind of like the True Detective meme where things times a flat circle or whatever. What you're seeing now is like people are rushing to try, and the ones that can get in are getting in it. Lots of cool things you can do when you program a browser, but like again, what people aren't realizing is like when you look at the details of what you're giving up, like as part of this process, like not only are you paying, it's really high cost, unless you're lucky enough to be on a wait list or whatever and get picked. You can go into that too, but the amount of data and access and the depth of access that you're granting an agent in these browsers is wild. Like I'm not going to say it's like unprecedented because so much data collection happens, but in the way that you're offloading tasks to an agent, there's a huge amount of trust that you have to put into this software. And I think that what people aren't really, or they're kind of blasting past, is just like if you look at the policies for these, like so far it's Perplexity, right? But it's not just going to be them. Like OpenAI is going to be bringing one out, and not just like those, but also things like Copilot, right? Like in Windows and through Microsoft, and Google's got Gemini, all these things. Just looking at Perplexity's policies, like the data collection is like wild, like and it's everything. And I think the thing that people don't realize is it's not just your browsing behavior, but like it's not just your financial information. It's also the cadence, the amounts, like it's the next step in behavior that's happening, that you're giving access to. And the problem with this is that you don't know where that access ends. You're granting, you might trust Perplexity, but who are their partners? Where is it going? And et cetera. I think we've got some stuff cooking. We put a roadmap around Leo, and there's some like kind of container approach to Agentic that we're looking at, which will of course be user first. And it's early in this game, but I also think that there's kind of a bit of an act going on. I don't know if folks saw, but recently Cloudflare made an announcement that they're blocking AI bots and scrapers basically from the sites that they protect by default. And Cloudflare protects about, or they serve about 19.5% of all websites on the web, and that's a huge amount of websites, right? Like, and not only that, but like if you rank order the top 10 sites by traffic, I think that the top 10,000 sites by traffic, I think that Cloudflare is on 4,222 of them or something like that. What that means is that, like, a lot of these services are using scrapers, right, to train, for data to train models and things like that. What some of this browser stuff might be is a way to kind of get around that from the client side, and so a lot of these companies are starting to look like AI is the cool thing that they're doing, but also, I mean, like, what a funnel for data brokerage. And so I think that, like with everything, the devil's in the details with this stuff. And, you really, is your user agent user first? And that's always kind of the question to be asking. So it's exciting too, at the same time. Like, I think that browsers are, no matter how much people want to be like going negative on browsers, like they just keep coming back, and here again, like looking at this from a long view, we're well positioned in both having our own index and having, close to 100 million monthly active users, and sticking our keeping our promises and our ethos, and getting AI to work with that, just like we've got advertising to work with that, or crypto to work with that, etc. So anyway, that's a long-winded rant on that. I hope that makes sense. Who's got a hand up?
It's just me. Yeah, so no, I appreciate the response. My Wi-Fi kind of cut out there for a second, so I had to rejoin. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see what's going on in the space and what comes of it. And it's always nice to get a kind of a overview from someone that deals with it on a daily basis and knows more about it than I do. Anyways. So but I was gonna remind you that Bowles had that question about midnight and kind of what that means for Brave and privacy and stuff like that. But also, before you hit that, any updates on search or things like that you can share? I don't know if we've heard anything on that side of things for a little bit.
For search, like
just in general, anything going on over there?
The team's still working on, like, I mean, we're still getting improvements on search. The AI answers are super popular. Re-rank's been going pretty well. The search ads are growing, like in the few markets that they're in. Not a ton on that beyond that that comes to mind, but I think, pivoting over to kind of midnight, and Bowles, I know you got a hand up. I don't know if you want me to answer before or you want to chime in.
Good. Yeah, I mean, basically the question was like with midnight, and I have another question too, but for midnight side thing, I just kind of want to know a little bit more kind of about the partnership. I got to talk to some of the guys from Midnight, and they seem pretty cool. But I haven't really heard a ton of it from the Brave side. I did eventually get the, what is it, CoinDesk or whatever, that had all the recordings. I did get to eventually watch the thing that Brendan was at, but it didn't really answer my questions either. So what I was basically wondering is, could you tell us a little bit more about Brave's partnership with them? I mean, in terms of what you're publicly allowed to tell us and like what it might mean for Brave in terms of improving like their services and offerings, or maybe the vision there.
Yeah, sure. No, and so for folks that aren't necessarily like familiar to, like, Midnight's kind of like a privacy protocol, right? Like where that the Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, is bringing to market, and it's currently like the mainnet's not live for it, and so, but what they're trying to do is have this. They're trying to go bigger into the privacy side of things, and Midnight will give you the ability to do things privately through their protocol, right? So kind of like how you could have like private transactions with Shield Zcash, like there Midnight be a whole protocol that's dedicated to private, like a privacy layer, basically. And so like with the partnership that we have with Cardano, it extended into Midnight, and we're like looking at different. Right now, we're speaking with the team on different ways that we could, go forward together. I know that Charles Hoskinson mentioned at, I think it wasn't at a permissionless, but it was at the one before that, Consensus. I think you mentioned, potentially a VPN or some ad related services. There are a lot of different paths we could go down there. And so what our team's working on right now with them are like, what are the different practical use cases that we could apply at scale to do it, whether that's, potentially around private payment transactions or something around the ad ecosystem or something like VPN or all of the above. And so the cool thing about it is that, Cardano's and Midnight have like a really good depth of research and development side, and our research team too has been kind of like chomping at a bit to work to do more work, and so this is kind of giving both sides an opportunity to work together. And so what you'll probably see is like once we narrow in on a specific first case that we want to work through, which we're working on getting kind of out there, you'll probably see us announce like what that first thing will be, and then we'll go forward together. But basically, like, just to get back to the question, like we can work with Midnight to like add additional layers of privacy to services from the browser. So like that could be, private transactions, payments, or stuff to enhance VPN, or ways that we could integrate it into the ad ecosystem, etc. Guillermo, I see you got a hand up.
So if I, before,
go for it.
Hey, and so, I mean, I think this probably makes sense, but I would say a lot of these improvements would be almost more like on the back end, like potentially enhancing the magic that makes everything work in a way that could allow us to be more private and also actually utilize more Web3 oriented tech.
Exactly. And you could think about it as like the potential to build services with a privacy integrated into them, right? And then having those services just work. And I think like that's kind of something I'm trying to push a lot more too, is, let's think of things from a service perspective, more than a per transaction type of thing, because we need to be moving in that direction anyway. So to a user, like what this ends up being is like a convenience win with a service that has privacy implemented on the back end, basically, like in ways that we could look at that with Midnight, and whether it's aggregating things together or handling more one-to-one or et cetera. The other thing about Midnight that's interesting is they're like trying to be like multi-chain native, so you can have like different networks plug in. That's part of what they're doing with this, Glacier airdrop too, is that they're making, it eligible to a lot of different communities from different blockchains. And so, that's compatible like with what we're trying to do too, like with Brave, where we want to be accessible and have like, instead of picking favorites here or there, like have everybody doing Web3 types of things in Brave, right? Like, yeah. So hope that helps. Guillermo, I think you got a hand up too.
just want to add what Midnight's doing also adds to the regulatory system currently in the EU. EU has set to ban the circulation and distribution of privacy coins on centralized exchanges by 2027. The creation of Night Token, since it's a layered privacy, will not follow into the same definition that they currently have for privacy tokens, will therefore be an available alternative for it. So it just ends, in my personal opinion, ends up being a middle finger to the current regulation at hand from MiCA, which I really, really enjoy. Not only that, but the zero knowledge proof ends up being a better alternative for the KYC that they're just demanding more and more. It's just become standardized here in the EU, and something that I really despise.
Yeah, Micah's like pretty wild. I was reading about that. Like, if you want to market crypto, like, first off, they like kind of cut out everybody that's not an established player, whether it's like by having to pay, you know, to get licensed or whatever. But then they had
I heard about Malta.
I mean, they had some crazy requirement. You had to like submit your marketing campaign to like your country's regulator within 20 days of running it or something like that. I'm like, dude, these people have no idea like how last minute assets get sent in for campaigns that are running tomorrow, kind of thing, you know. But
you want a little insight? I was in Brussels when this was still being discussed, and here's a little insight from my point of view. So when the MiCA was still being developed, very, very early days, for the most part, it was people that were actually from the industry talking with regulators, with lawmakers and legislators to push for a bill that would harmonize the regulation of crypto assets here in the EU. However, very slowly and subtly, a lot of lawyers started invading the space. And it reached a point where the past meetings that I attended was 70% lawyers who had absolutely no idea or business to be in Web3. They literally had just joined the space or just were onboarding and working with new companies that were just formed in the space. They were not people that are already present in the industry. They were just people that were advocating for new laws without truly the understanding of the alternatives that were at hand, like zero knowledge, for example. So they were all praising and preaching for KYC as a way of anti-money laundering, which to me is just absurd.
It's kind of wild too, because on one hand you have like, you know, the EU put out some of the strongest privacy regulation.
Yes.
And then on the other hand, like whether it's AI or crypto, the regulation they're putting in place is like very privacy hostile. Like it's pretty wild. I mean, like, and even, you know, like the EU banking commission is kind of pushing for CBDCs. It's just like, what is going on? You know, it's such a identity crisis type of case.
It is
regional level, right? Like, and
typical politics.
Well, and there's like such. I had on the podcast two folks from the regulatory side, like in the EU. Like one of them helped draft the GDPR, and then worked on the AI Act, and they don't have enough like regulators to enforce the regulations that they have on the books, and they're still like eager to add more regulation on top of things. And in a lot of cases, these are things that don't even have market fit yet. So you're really kind of like crippling innovation into you. It's just nuts. Like, do you just let the markets kind of grow before you rush? I just am more and more convinced that they're just like, it's just basically like, you know, co-opted by lawyers and, you know, folks.
They are. I can tell you firsthand that they are. And I'm trying to connect the people from Midnight to some of these regulators that I know, or some people that can advocate change. And even then, they say that they will not alter the bill. They will not take away the laws that are already at hand or that are already programmed to happen by 2027. They might implement things on top of it, but never change what's already written. So to me, that's just insane. It's really not bargaining or even negotiating. They're just being very hostile towards privacy, which just does not align with the prior ethos that we have been, sold for the past 10 years. So
well, even it's wild too, because like you go back to, Johnny Ryan used to be our chief policy officer, and Pete Snyder and I worked with him on a lot of the the stuff he submitted to the EU regulators around how, you know, programmatic advertising is real-time bidding is basically like incompatible with GDPR. He literally got the regulators in multiple instances to like agree that it was, and yet like nothing happened, which is just like that no one was willing to enforce the law, right? Where you say like, look, like this thing that touches everybody is like breaking the law, and nothing happens. And you're like, okay, well, wait, like, why are you guys making more and more if you're not even going to go after what's already on the books that's got like, there's no clearer data breach out there than what real-time bidding is doing like every day, even now. And so it's pretty wild, like kind of like a lot of mess. And meanwhile, you know, technology just keeps on humming, right? Like it's not slowing down at all. And so, you know, it's almost like, okay, Europe has got this own set of rules, and everybody else is doing something else, kind of thing. I don't know. Baz, you still got a hand up. What's up, my man?
I kind of forgot what I was going to say, but it'll hopefully come back to me.
I'm sorry, Baz. but good points on Midnight. Super excited. I actually had a call with some of the folks over there earlier today.
Yeah, with who over there?
With some folks over there. One of our main guys on growth over there.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna meet up with a few other engineers and software people sometime soon. I got connected with a couple of them. And
Nice.
just gonna try them out to some events in my area, and maybe introduce them to some of our mutual acquaintances.
Killer.
Well,
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, anybody else have any questions or want to dig in the weeds on anything? Anybody?
I'll go. So this last month, growth-wise, user base for Brave was pretty good. Is there anything that you guys can point that to, or?
Yeah, well, I think like not specifically one thing over another. I think that, you know, we just are getting more and more attention on things around, I don't know, it could be a mixed bag of stuff, like YouTube issues outside of Brave, like more of this Google, you know, messing with the blockers kind of stuff. Also just word of mouth and more and more attention on things. Honestly, it was one of those things that we normally kind of expect things to slow down during the summer months, but anytime you can beat that, you know, summer slump, it's great.
Yeah, seemed like there was a lot of YouTube and Chrome kind of crap going on. Maybe that was
I think that's probably
it, but the combination of all those things.
I think it's part of it for sure. Like, and you know, the other nice thing is that like as you grow larger, like you just kind of naturally get more momentum with certain things. And you know, I've even been noticing more podcasters and stuff using Brave or having guests on that are talking about it and stuff. And so I think it's, you know, all these things help build, and that's why, like, you know, we appreciate everybody, you know, talking about Brave wherever those opportunities come up, and to get the word out there.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah. Baz, you got a hand up?
yeah, that actually reminded me of what I wanted to ask. So, I mean, I know I've talked about for like hitting 100 million, and like kind of viewing that as a pretty big milestone for various reasons. But I was kind of wanting to know what you kind of thought about that. Like, what does like hitting 100 million really mean for Brave? Like, is it literally just another number, or is it kind of, you know, more than that?
Honestly, like part of it's kind of like a mental, like arbitrary number, but there are other parts of it too that are like actually pretty substantial. So like, for example, like, I mean, if people have been tracking the daily actives, right? Like, you know, we keep a close eye on daily actives, like kind of like a North Star metric. But as we get closer to 100 million daily or monthly actives, we're closer and closer to kind of 40 plus million daily actives. I mean, for a lot of reasons, like as you get larger, one number I look at a lot is like 0.1% to 1% to 10% of the pool of users, because you can usually move people to like to a thing with 0.1 to 1 to 10, whereas other things take a bigger effort to get the cohorts out mobilized around. As you hit 100 million, that cohort gets a lot healthier, right? Like and you can move the needle a lot, but you also kind of see things happen once you hit a certain scale as far as like word of mouth, like all of a sudden becomes like word of mouths like amplified. I mean, for me, like personally, I was working on growth at Brave when we were trying to get to like the million user MAU mark, right? Like, which it was a lot of effort to do that on a bunch of fronts. Like, and we had a whole different set of challenges back then. Like back then, and I'm sure some of you all were there, we had compatibility issues that like nobody really dealt with outside of Brave from the browser level. And the team had to put a ton of R&D into like smoothing out those issues. But like we were more of like, oh, well, what can we market right now? And it was like, oh, Android's great. Cool. We'll focus on kind of driving Android and then, have word of mouth be everywhere else. But over time, I mean, like the product's so much more polished now. It's wild. Like, 100 million, like I didn't, it's just such a huge number to me. Like, but honestly, I mean, it's also as big of a number as that is when you look at the addressable browser market, like, 3 to 5 billion users are out there. Like, and so a lot of things change, right? Like getting to 100 million monthly active users means that like, when you look at the business side of it, where we should be looking like, or starting to kind of get in the mindset of is like early on, you really try to think of like what kind of substantive deals or types of campaigns can you run that are going to be meaningful near term at a high value. But like what you want to start thinking about over time is like, what are the more volume-based business models that we can do where you're catching more off transaction flow or off of like certain things and rewarding from that level as well. And so it's a different mindset. It's a different approach. And a lot of times, and this isn't just specific to users, but like you see this in kind of like business in the corporate world too, where like you'll have like a really good crack team of people that are like startup garage mindset oriented people that can operate really well at that stage of business. And then you kind of get up to like the next level where you start to see more of like corporate, like mid-level influence on things. And at Brave, we've done a pretty good job of like balancing out those things really well. But I think like from the business side, like, and from the user side, it's like, well, what are ways that we can like, okay, the crypto side of things, it was like, look, like, how can we make a more secure MetaMask or Phantom or whatever, right? Like, and make Web3 kind of part of the web. I think now it's like, dude, like, how can we compete with, a PayPal or a, Venmo with a way that's unstoppable and like, self-sovereign, right? Like, and do it where it's as convenient as those, and kind of like, in the same way that with rewards, initially we piggybacked a lot of stuff off of, for compliance and other reasons. What are ways that we can start to piggyback off of that flow and like make something that your neighbors can use that is like convenient and like scalable to where like, okay, cool. I don't really have to rejigger the whole business model for 1 billion users that much from 100 million, right? Like, and so there are a lot of things happen that change that. And also from a perspective of like, advertising and from the search engine, right? Like, you start to break into different verticals, which is like key because as you get larger, like, I mean, we've been a very male dominated user base of lead users. And now you can start to get in like the amount of brands you can go hit if you have a bigger female audience, for example, right? Like there's a lot of commercial opportunity there too. So there's a bunch of different things. I mean, I think 100 million it's like a million. It's like there is a mental part of it where it's like the partially arbitrary kind of like round number goal, but also like there are real tailwinds that come with that you can't get until you hit a certain level. And then that's where, you know, there's a lot of opportunity too.
No, I mean, that makes sense to me. That's kind of how I think about it too. I also realize that sometimes that extra digit matters to people who might be interested in advertising. You know, it's psychological, but it's psychological to people who might do business with you as well. But
so much of the world is psychological, right? Like so much of the marketing is, right, that it's silly. I was almost like, you know, I was kind of putting my foot in my mouth and I've been, don't ask me why, but like spending more time in LinkedIn than I'm proud to admit. Lately,
I know this.
yeah. Well, it's a great place to get guests for the podcast and also to like nail down people and stuff. But I just am like, so much of my base there, like, or people that follow or network there, whatever we want to call it. So much of that's for legacy stuff from like the ad tech space when I was there. I'll be sitting there like seeing people complaining about how AI is complicated or just a prompt or whatever. Meanwhile, like they're ad tech people, and it's like, dude, you guys are like the most complicated, inefficient, you know, type of business technology out there that's had probably this like rotten, you know, impact on society. Like complaining about AI being complicated. I'm like, dude, like, there's a certain amount of denial from that cohort that's pretty raw and gross. But anyway, like I think, you know, yeah, it's interesting, like to see how I'm so much of what's happening now. I'm in the mindset of like, dude, like get to the next step. Like where's the transactional part like going to kick in, and where can we start to like get better about like, you know, making a better experience from that level than trying to kind of stay in the old world of like gamifying, you know, getting people to click on things. I think it's so much more in a lot of ways back to basics, but like with better tech kind of. And I'm excited too. I think like one of the things you guys will start to see in the weeks ahead is like a lot of focus around like getting nightly testing rallied up and stuff as we roll out more experimental features there. And so we're really looking to get a lot more feedback from people on that front too, and just engaging more with users in general. I think that's been a part that we could be doing a lot better on. Is like, this is why I enjoy this call so much, is that, you know, you all bring a lot of good feedback and reports here that are like have come in so handy. But I think like we need to get more proactive, like as an org with those lead users, especially as we get more and more broader cohorts of users in. Like, you know, it's so key to our ethos of like listening to those lead users. And now I think we're at a stage too where like at this scale, those lead users can get a lot more involved and like have a even stronger impact earlier on, like in influencing how we differentiate. You know, like I would love to get like a lead cohort of nightly users in and say, look, like give me the top 10 things that we need to do for Leo or VPN or whatever to like make it better and make it a no-brainer for you to use it, or wallet or whatever, you know, like and get that feedback from those lead users in early. Because what I'm seeing a lot of now is like stuff where we're catching it and releasing. It's like great that we're catching it, like, or getting community to catch it, but like also like, damn, it would be great to like get in earlier with users. So I'm putting a bunch of focus there too. So hope that's interesting for people. But yeah.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
No, that's awesome to hear. And I mean, I think it's exciting. I sent you some DMs, but you know, I was kind of hoping to maybe set up a talk with you and like a guy I know who does like film production, but also is really interested in crypto and AI. Maybe it'd be I have a few connections. I'm going to try to send your way. that are a little bit less typical that maybe, it'd be good. That's where you're trying to expand your audience and like maybe reach different crowds.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Let's do it. Yeah, Global C, that looks awesome too. A good idea on batch taking for VPN access. That would be pretty awesome. All right, folks. Well, we're at time. So appreciate everybody coming on today. Thanks to the team for filling in for Jenny Shi. It was awesome work. And we'll be back 1 week from today. Same bat time, same bat channel. Till then, see you online and have a great week.
See you guys. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.
Bye.